Rapunzel. Once upon a time, there lived a husband and wife who wished very much for a child. After a long time, the wife hoped their wish was finally coming true. These nice people had a little window at the back of their house. From the window, they could see a beautiful garden. It was full of colorful flowers and tasty-looking plants. But the garden had a high wall all around it. No one ever went inside because it belonged to a sorceress. She was known to have strong magic, and people stayed away from her garden. One day, the wife stood by the window, looking down into the garden. She saw a patch of plants called rampion, or Rapunzel. The leaves looked so fresh and green. She wanted to taste them very, very much. Soon, that was all she could think about, and she started to feel pale and unwell. Her husband grew worried and asked, "What's wrong, my dear wife?" "Oh," she sighed. "If I can't eat some of the Rapunzel from the garden behind our house, I feel like I'll just fade away." The husband loved his wife very much. He thought, "I don't want my wife to be unwell. I'll go get some of that Rapunzel for her, no matter what." So, when the evening sky grew dim, he carefully climbed over the high wall into the sorceress's garden. He quickly picked a handful of Rapunzel leaves and took them back to his wife. Right away, she made a yummy salad with the leaves and ate every bite. It tasted so good, so wonderful, that the next day she wanted even more. If the husband wanted any peace, he knew he had to go back into the garden. So, in the evening light, he climbed over the wall again. But this time, as he landed softly on the ground, he got a big surprise. The sorceress was standing right there in front of him. "How dare you," she said, looking sternly, "climb into my garden and take my Rapunzel like a sneaky fox? You should not have done that." "Oh, please," the husband answered. "Please be kind. I only came here because I had to. My wife saw your Rapunzel from our window. She wanted it so much that she felt she would waste away if she didn't get some to eat." Hearing this, the sorceress's stern look softened a little bit. She said, "If that is true, then I will let you take as much Rapunzel as you like. But I have one request. When your baby is born, perhaps you will let me help care for the child. I promise she will be treated kindly, and I will care for her like a mother." The husband was still worried, but he wanted to help his wife and trusted the sorceress's promise of kindness, so he agreed. Soon, the wife had a beautiful baby girl. The sorceress appeared right away, just as she said she would. She named the baby Rapunzel, and, with the parents' agreement, took her away to live with her and be cared for. Rapunzel grew up to be a lovely child with sparkling eyes. When she turned 12 years old, the sorceress took her deep into a forest. There, she helped Rapunzel settle into a tall, tall tower that had no stairs and no door. Way up at the very top, there was just one little window. When the sorceress wanted to visit Rapunzel, she would stand below the window and call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Rapunzel had wonderful long hair, as bright and shiny as spun gold. When she heard the sorceress's voice, she would unpin her braids, wrap the end around a hook by the window, and let her hair fall all the way down. It was like a long golden rope. Then the sorceress would climb up the hair to the window. After a year or two went by, a prince happened to be riding his horse through the forest near the tower. As he rode closer, he heard someone singing. The song was so beautiful that he stopped his horse just to listen. It was Rapunzel, living all alone in the tower. She passed the time by singing sweetly. The prince wanted to meet the person with such a lovely voice. He looked all around the tower for a door, but he couldn't find one. He rode back home, but he couldn't forget the beautiful singing. Every day after that, he went back to the forest to listen. One day, while he was standing quietly behind a tree, he saw the sorceress come to the tower. He heard her call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Then he watched as the long golden braids fell down and the sorceress climbed up. "Aha," thought the prince. "So that's how you get up. I will try that too." The very next day, as it started to get dark, the prince went to the tower and called out in his kindest voice, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Right away, the beautiful hair tumbled down and the prince carefully climbed up. At first, Rapunzel was quite surprised when the prince appeared at her window. She had never seen anyone except the sorceress before. But the prince smiled and spoke to her gently, like a friend. He told her how he had heard her singing, and its beauty had touched his heart so much that he simply had to find her. Rapunzel soon felt less lonely and wasn't surprised anymore. The prince asked if she would like to leave the tower with him. Rapunzel saw that he was kind and gentle. She thought, "He seems much kinder than Mother Gothel." That was the name she sometimes called the sorceress. So Rapunzel said yes and placed her hand in his. "I would gladly go with you," she said, "but I don't know how to get down from here. I have an idea. Every evening when you visit, please bring a little bit of soft silk thread. I can weave the threads together to make a ladder. When the ladder is long enough, I can climb down, and we can ride away on your horse." They agreed that the prince would visit her every evening, because the sorceress only came during the day. The sorceress didn't notice anything for a while. But one day, Rapunzel forgot and said, "Mother Gothel, why does it seem harder to pull you up than the young prince? He climbs up so quickly." "Oh, what did you say?" cried the sorceress, looking very upset. "I thought I had kept you safely hidden from everyone, but you have had a secret visitor." Feeling very protective and worried about Rapunzel, she quickly took Rapunzel's beautiful long hair, wrapped it around her hand, picked up a pair of scissors, and snip, snap, she cut off the golden braids, and they fell onto the floor. The sorceress decided Rapunzel needed to be moved somewhere quieter, so she took her far away to a peaceful place in the woods, where she had to live for a while, and felt very lonely. Later that same day, the sorceress went back to the tower. She took the braids of golden hair that she had cut off and fastened them to the hook by the window. When the prince arrived and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me," the sorceress lowered the cut hair. The prince climbed up, expecting to see his dear Rapunzel. But instead, he found the sorceress looking back at him with a grumpy, unpleasant face. "Aha!" she said with a frown. "You came looking for your friend? Well, the little bird isn't singing in her nest anymore. She flew away. Rapunzel is gone, and you won't find her easily." The prince felt so sad and worried. In his surprise and distress, he stumbled backward from the window. He tumbled down but landed safely in the soft bushes below the tower. However, as he wandered away sadly through the thick forest, some scratchy branches poked near his eyes, making it hard for him to see clearly. Lost and with blurry sight, he wandered through the woods for a long, long time. He ate roots and berries he could find and felt very sad, missing Rapunzel terribly. He traveled like this for quite some time. At last, he came to the quiet, faraway place where Rapunzel was now living. She wasn't alone anymore, because now she had two little children, a boy and a girl. One day, the prince heard a sweet voice singing nearby. It sounded so familiar. He walked towards the sound. As he got closer, Rapunzel saw him. She recognized him right away and ran to him with happy tears, giving him a big hug. A couple of her happy tears landed near his eyes. Suddenly, the blurriness seemed to wash away, and he could see clearly again. he saw his dear Rapunzel and their two sweet children. He was overjoyed. He led Rapunzel and the children back to his kingdom. Everyone there welcomed them with great happiness, and they all lived together, happy and joyful, for many, many years.